Hi everybody, it's Recovery Dude, and I'm here to talk about another topic that's been coming up frequently over the last week. And what actually brought it up today was I went to a speaker meeting, and forgiveness was one of the topics of that lead. And it came up about a week ago. I was talking to another gentleman in the program, and this topic of forgiveness came up. And this was an extreme example of forgiveness. But this gentleman, what had happened was about 8 years ago, his wife and his daughter were hit and killed by a drunk driver. And this guy went to jail. And when the guy got out of jail, he invited him to dinner. And he asked the guy, why? Why were you driving drunk? And he got the answer from the guy, and this guy's life was literally falling apart. His wife had died, he lost his job, all within like a 2-month period. And he was drinking it away, or trying to drink it away. And he got behind the wheel, and he hit this guy's wife and daughter and killed them. And when he actually sat down to talk to the guy and found out why this had actually happened, it kind of solidified in his head. It made a little bit more sense, and he was able to forgive the guy. And that took a lot of strength and a lot of courage on his part. I don't know if I could have been the bigger person in that situation, but he took the time to sit down and understand this guy and try to figure out why it actually happened. And I really respect him for doing that. Again, I haven't been in that situation, but if I were, I don't know, that would be a very difficult thing for me to do, but I definitely respect it. And when I think about how forgiveness plays into our 12-step program, well, step four has a lot to do with forgiveness. The biggest part of it, at least for me, I had to learn to forgive myself. Once I started to put down all the people I had harmed on step 4, I had to forgive myself for what I did. And that was essential, because I really couldn't move on unless I found a way to forgive myself for some of those awful things that I did. And it also prepares me for what if that person doesn't forgive me. If they don't forgive me, the only thing I can do is forgive myself. And that tripped me up for the longest time. Because of my lack of forgiveness, not only for myself, but for other people, it took me 8 years to work a successful step 4. To actually do it truthfully, honestly, and come to terms with what was on that list. Because I was so mad at the other people that had harmed me, I couldn't get over the poor me to say, all right, I can forgive this person, and now I need to look at my role. Now I can look at my role and figure out a way to forgive myself. So forgiveness is a very large part of this recovery program, any recovery program. Without forgiveness, I'm an example. I mean, that definitely played into my relapses. The fact that I never honestly, truly, successfully completed a steps 4 and 5. My most recent one, I did. I was able to look at that forgiveness aspect and first forgive myself and then forgive the other person. Sometimes the other way around, but forgiveness played in. And, it also plays into step 10. When I was wrong, promptly admitted it. Okay, well, I've done some dumb stuff in sobriety, and I had to step 10 myself. I had to go and apologize to the other person. But in order to do that, I had to think about, well, where was my head when I made that mistake? Where was I? What was happening in my head? How was I feeling? And then think about that and say, well, do I forgive myself for what happened? Well, sometimes it takes explaining to the other person, this is why that happened. I apologize. It is completely my fault. But I just wanted to tell you where my head was at, where I was at when that happened. And a lot of times that will help a little bit. I mean, you really can't take it back. So all you can do is think about why it happened and try to keep it from happening in the future. And if it does, apologize for it. And forgiveness on a day-to-day basis. I mean, can I forgive things that happen around me? That's part of living life on life's terms. Forgive and forget. We don't always forget, but if we can forgive, I think that's really the most crucial part. Now, one thing I shared today in the meeting was this concept of why me? Why do I always have to be the bigger person in a situation? Why do I always have to be the one apologizing? I get that, woe is me. Well, dang it. Why do I have to do this? Why doesn't the other person have to apologize? I don't have any control over them. I can't make that person apologize. What I can do is apologize for my role that I played in that situation. And you know what happens when I do that? I'm ultimately the winner. Why am I the winner? I don't have to have this woe is me feeling. I'm the winner because I get to keep my sobriety because I'm doing the next right thing. I'm making the apology, I'm clearing it from my consciousness, and I can move on. That is a huge win. The fact that I can get away out of any situation and keep my sobriety. That is one of the biggest wins I could ever ask for. If my head's in the right place, my heart's in the right place, and I'm connected to God, I can come out of any and every situation sober. And that wasn't always the case. But today, I can do that. And that's awesome. So think about forgiveness in your life. Try to apply it a little more frequently. And when you're wronged, it's okay. Remember what we always said when we were playing sports as kids? No blood, no foul. I'm not bleeding. Okay, let's forgive, forget, move on, and get on with our lives. And ultimately, keep that sobriety. Love you all. Have a great day.